Springfield, a small place like this, was actually chosen to host the Olympics. The town residents were thrilled and all took to the streets to clean up. Exposed soil was quickly covered up. The tire fire that had been burning for over a decade was finally extinguished. The police chief even notified the rats to lay low for a while and come back after the Olympics were over. At this time, the TV was soliciting mascot design proposals. This was another great opportunity for Homer to shine. He quickly created his first mascot, the Olympic spotted cat, whose eyes could even move.
You paper-mache my cat?
Just for the prototype, honey.
Homer knew they wouldn't like this idea, so he had kept another one in reserve.
How about a big Olympic hello for Springy, the Springfield Spring?
Those aren't the dog's eyes, are they?
Marge thought this idea was quite good. People from the Olympic Committee soon came to inspect the venue. Experts even jumped into the sewers to investigate carefully, but in the end, they didn't find even a single rat. At this point, the mayor unveiled the Olympic mascot. It was the Springs bouncer that Homer had made.
They picked Springy! In your face, Patty and Selma!
Next came the children's cultural performance. They sang for the Olympic Committee leaders on stage. Though it was boring, everyone was watching attentively, except for Homer, who just found it extremely dull. The performance had already ended, but unexpectedly, Bart also went on stage to perform stand-up comedy. His performance style mainly consisted of making fun of people through personal attacks. None of the leaders in the audience were spared. All were mocked by Bart. Homer loved this kind of show. Only he could laugh, while others felt it was very rude. Bart went all out and finished his stand-up routine. The next second, the Olympic Committee leaders got straight into their cars and left, departing without looking back. The right to host the Olympics that was within their grasp just vanished into thin air. The culprit could be said to be Bart. Considering that other kids on stage had also laughed, the school leadership punished them all with community service. Some were assigned to organize street basketball games for thugs, while others were assigned to pick up trash at the beach.
Ow! I pricked myself!
Well, just keep working. You'll prick yourself with the antidote sooner or later.
Next came Bart's turn. He thought he'd been assigned to a comfortable place, but unexpectedly, he was assigned to a nursing home. When Bart arrived at the nursing home and saw the sickly old people, he felt overwhelmed. The next second, he was startled by an elderly person in a wheelchair. As he ran away, he knocked over the old person's dentures. This attracted many elderly people who came to tease Bart. At this moment, Bart discovered that Lisa was also at the nursing home. It turned out Lisa had been volunteering here for a year already. She could skillfully lead the elderly in playing games, and whoever won would get a banana. Bart was very shocked after watching this and said they weren't children anymore. They should be rewarded with cigarettes or alcohol. Lisa directly refused Bart's request. Every day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon was the elderly's rest time. When they fell asleep, the nurses would dust them off.
Here you go. Make sure you get into every crevice. Cool. Grandpa, Homer. Grandpa, Homer.
Don't play with the faces.
After a day of community service, Bart was very dissatisfied. The nurses wouldn't let the elderly do anything. They practically wanted to chew the food before letting them eat. Lisa told Bart that's just how elderly people are. They only hope to live peaceful, quiet lives. Just then, the doorbell rang. Homer's enthusiasm for Springs was still going strong. He had ordered a large box of Springs, planning to sell them.
Oh!
Idiots! Ooh, these are fun!
Homer transformed into Springs Man, going door to door selling Springs. When a lady saw it was Homer, she directly slapped him because it was Bart who caused Springfield to not host the Olympics. Skinner heard the commotion and came down to vent as well. Homer didn't give up. He went to Moe's Tavern next. He loaded Springs into a box, and when Lenny opened the box, the spring shot straight into his eye. Because Bart had messed up the Olympics, Homer was also treated coldly. Even Moe wanted to kick him out of the bar. Because Homer couldn't sell these Springs, he attached Springs to a frying pan, which would give him an auto-flipping cooking pan. Marge ordered Homer to get rid of these Springs immediately. Unexpectedly, Homer directly attached Springs to Maggie's body. He was treating Maggie like a toy. Marge warned Homer that he must get the Springs out of the house by the end of the day. Unexpectedly, Homer flushed the Springs straight down the toilet.
You're not flushing those Springs down our toilet, are you?
Of course not. 996 springs to flush down 996 springs.
That day, Bart took the elderly out of the nursing home while Lisa was away. They ran freely in the park. Having stayed indoors too long, they had forgotten they could still run that fast. They used wheelchairs as skateboards, extreme sports accelerating their heartbeats. They fenced with canes and even pulled out their prosthetic legs to use as weapons. When the elderly got tired of playing, they lay on the ground sunbathing. They thought the day would pass like this, but Bart wanted them to have even more fun. He took the elderly to the dock, preparing to take them out to sea. The elderly sang and danced to their heart's content on the boat, while Bart was responsible for keeping watch. At this moment, Lisa appeared in Bart's telescope. Seeing all the grandpas and grandmas so happy, Lisa admitted that Bart's way of respecting the elderly wasn't bad either, but happiness is always fleeting. Burns was also sailing on the sea in his large yacht, but he wasn't watching where he was going at all and directly crashed into the boat where the elderly were. The boat lost its balance, and seawater flooded onto the deck. Just then, Jack stepped forward. As a former fitness enthusiast, he was confident he could bring everyone back. He bit onto a rope, jumped into the sea, and dragged the boat toward shore. But with one overly forceful pull, he actually tore off the bow of the boat as well. Now this boat had no bow or stern, and the people on board could only leave it to fate. The elderly all blamed Bart, but Abe protected his grandson. He said this was the happiest day he'd had in 20 years. Before he could finish speaking, the boat sank. A moment later, it miraculously bounced back up. Lisa is curious about what happened next. It turns out that the springs that Homer flushed into the toilet was underwater.
135 springs.